Mainstream media, especially in the United States, mainstream media is a business. That means it has to have a funding source. It has to have somebody to buy its ad space. It has to have somebody to buy the paper. So just like politicians, mainstream media has to sell their product. Every time you click on a headline, that's you voting for a certain headline over another headline. So in the race for clicks and in the race for attention, mainstream media has had to take these very biased stances. So mainstream media is no longer, they're not incentivized to tell you and me the truth. They're not incentivized to take a middle ground, even though what you and I are looking for is a middle ground. That's not what the media is getting. The media is incentivized to amplify the voice of the far left and the far right, which is why you have Fox News, sometimes really far right,
super far right, yeah,
and your CNNs of the world and your BBCs of the world really far left, right? Instead, there's just a lack of people in the middle. Even like the New York Times, which has for a long time been a neutral newspaper, even now it's labeled as center left. And going back to the reason why, so the media is incentivized to create news that's polarizing. Well, who is it that clicks on a free media source? Somebody who doesn't have a lot of money. Remember how we were talking about how the biggest problem is the socioeconomic divide?
Yes.
Well, guess what? The poorer you are in general, the more liberal you lean. So now you've got liberal news sources looking to satisfy poor liberal people or young liberal people who come from wealthy families, because that's another thing that happens, right? How often do you find like a conservative parent with their liberal college kid?
Yeah.
Right? Because that person is still so ideologically independent, they haven't actually tasted the realities of real life yet. So then you've got these liberal news sources that realize that just to stay alive, they have to publish and print liberal progressive media to a very specific demographic, even though when that demographic grows up, gets married, has a baby, and builds a business, guess what they start voting? Conservative.
Conservative.